Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be spitting out those facts about common misconceptions and myths about World of Tanks Blitz, and there are 3 of them in today's video. Now, I know some people will not like what I'm going to say in today's video, but it is the truth, and this first one is about the matchmaker. I have seen every now and then a lot of people trying to say the matchmaker is rigged for World of Tanks Blitz. Not only that, but even a big YouTuber made a video talking about the matchmaker being rigged and brought up a bunch of evidence and blah blah blah, trying to say how it was rigged, it was causing more skilled players to lose battles, and it's just not true whatsoever. I'm currently in a clan, Void, and they're about 65 to 70% win rate players, which is pretty dang high. And I've been in Pincer, which is also 65 to 70%ers. I've been in Pramo, and these are some of the top North American clans in the server. And never once have I ever heard any of these players complaining that the matchmaker is the reason they're losing battles. Sure, there are teams that are bad. Everybody has bad teams. Even if you're not great at the game, there will still be battles that you probably have players that are worse than you. But it doesn't negate the fact that I'm still able to achieve a 70% win rate every single month, and every player in these top clans are able to achieve that same type of win rate. And obviously, the main reason they're able to do that is because of skill. It's not that Wargaming's giving them free wins, it's not that Wargaming's trying to make them lose, because if the matchmaker was programmed to make more skilled players lose, obviously then we wouldn't be sitting at 70%. It would be less and less and less. So the first thing I say about the matchmaker is just the fact that it's never ever been rigged. There's no reason for Wargaming to rig it in the first place. What would be their actual, gain? Haha, we're gonna make this 55%er go to 50% because we think it's funny and we're gonna have some popcorn while this guy's win rate goes down. That already makes no sense to me because Wargaming has no incentive to rig the matchmaker. They wouldn't gain anything from making skilled players do worse, and they wouldn't gain anything from making worse players do better. It wouldn't change their game whatsoever because skilled players are still easily going to be able to kill not skilled players. It's not like, they're gonna magically ammo rack you. Well, I guess they might, but you get the point. There is no evidence whatsoever, and there never has been evidence that the matchmaker will or ever has been rigged. So what I usually say to people that try to argue that it is just try to learn more about the game. Clearly, if you're struggling to win battles, it's not Wargaming causing you to lose them. It might be every now and then you'll have the occasional loss, but there's clearly proof that if you are skilled and you can achieve a 70% win rate in Blitz, you know a lot more than a player that's averaging a 50% win rate. You know more about the game, you can either work positions better, or you just know flat out more knowledge. This is not just a game about skill. This isn't a game where, you can move your hands faster, and because of that, you're going to get more shots out. In fact, there's a lot of people I know that don't move that fast, but they're still easily able to average over 3,000 damage in Tier 9 and 10 because they know what is behind the game. They know what high explosive does, what type of ammo penetrates what tanks, and everything like that. And that's some of the things that I always tell people, that if you're struggling to win games, always learn more about it. There's always things even personally I struggle to learn, and that's of course the first point in today's video. The second one has to go right on par with the first point, and this one has to do with, is RNG rigged? Now, I can tell you from personal experience, I really sometimes actually try to believe that it is, because oh my, you guys, when you watch my videos on, of course, YouTube, usually you're just seeing good games, because I will specifically try hard and get out good games while I'm recording for YouTube. But when I'm just chilling with my friends in voice chat on Discord and we're platooning, or I'm just streaming my games to them on Discord, oh my, you should see some of the painful shots that come out of my tanks. Trust me, I completely understand what it feels like to fully aim in a shell with a leopard one and then have that shot go 5 miles from where you aimed. But the honest evidence is, and I made a video on this about, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I brought up this actual chart that showed how aiming works in World of Tanks Blitz. And basically, if you aim in your shots, you will 90% of the time hit your shots. And that's just basic truth. And I can vouch for that. Even though there's a lot of shells that I miss in whatever tier I'm playing, for most of my tier 10 tanks, I'm sitting at around an 85 to 90% hit rate. And obviously, to get that high of a hit rate, you need to be able to hit your shots. So my biggest advice, and the thing that I always tell people, is if you're struggling to hit your shots, if you're saying RNG is not on your side, the biggest bit of advice I can do is always wait as long as possible before you need to shoot. That is just something that has always been one of my biggest fortes, and if you ever watch one of my videos, I normally never take risky shots. I will sit there and I will aim in my shell until the last possible millisecond, and then I will shoot, because I know from my bad luck that wargaming sometimes doesn't like me all too much, and yeah, my shells don't always go where I want them to. So because of that, I purposely aim in as long as I can, trying to minimize the area of failure that will happen. And that is what my biggest advice would be if you're struggling with hitting your shots, is always try to get that that just oomph of aiming left out that you can. Just try and get that little last bit out before, of course, you're done aiming, because if you snap your shot, then clearly it's not really wargaming's fault or anything RNG side. That's just called, I'm gonna take a lucky roll here, throw 12 dice, and hopefully they're all gonna land on ones, and then I'll hit my shots. So that's one thing I always say, is dispersion value is what your shell's dispersion is. If you're running an E100, you have 0.362 dispersion. If you're running a Leopard 1, you're 0.272. And of course, the smaller your dispersion value is, the more accurate your tank is. The way aiming time works is all it is how long it takes your reticle to get to your minimal dispersion. So, the larger your reticle is basically the larger your dispersion. So right now with my AMX-12T, you can see here, my dispersion, it's awful. I'm running at like 78% crew, and yeah, it's not super fun. So this gun is incredibly inaccurate. So you'll notice I'm always trying to get up close to pen my shells. Gonna wait until I have an easy shot, still aiming in on that KV-1 there to make sure it pens. Always making sure that I can get these easy pens out to make, you know, my life a little bit easier. So that is the second thing, is that RNG is not rigged. Wargaming's not purposely making your shells fly off to the side of the map. Just aim in more, or I guess it's just unlucky sometimes. But it's definitely, again, there's no gain for wargaming to purposely ruin your shots, to make them skew off and, you know, fly off like a Fortnite missile. That's just not how it works. Wargaming will never, ever interfere with players' games, to what I am at least aware, and will be aware for my Blitz experience. The final one is a pretty quick and short one. It's about balancing. This one's not really anything else, but it's a little simple one. There was somebody that, on one of my comments, that actually got quite a bit of likes, that said, why doesn't the T-49 have 152mm alpha? It carries a 152. And of course, you could make the same argument for a vehicle like the Kampfpanzer, and a vehicle like the Foch 155, and vehicles like the Hori. The way I see it is the fact that, yes, while you have a larger caliber, vehicles like 170mm on the Jagdpanzer and 183s on the 183 will have more damage per shot because they are a much larger caliber. The way I see it is this game also needs to be balanced. So, as much as a enjoyment it would be to deal 640 and 980 damage on a T-49 for both your ammunition rounds, that would be broken beyond belief. Imagine a T-49 with 980 average high explosive damage, or 960, whatever the 152 roll is. That would be so broken that you literally wouldn't even need to penetrate your opponents. You just slap an HE at their front and take off like 400 damage and be like, haha, loser. So, clearly, Wargaming's not going to give vehicles like the Foch 155 700 damage per shot, because that just wouldn't be fair and balanced. That's the last one I wanted to put in there as a little myth and misconception, is why don't the larger caliber guns always get higher alpha damage? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just balance the tanks in the game. But the first two, I strongly believe in. Anybody that thinks the game is rigged and your battles are being lost because Wargaming is purposely screwing you over, it's just wrong. The thing that I always say is, if you believe that, you just got to practice more and you got to get better at the game. And I'm going to say this honestly because, you know, there's no point not to. It's just, if you're struggling to win battles, you can't blame it on the company that makes the game for making you lose games. You just have to get better. You have to learn the things about the game, watch videos, or just learn from experience. But blaming Wargaming is not going to ever help you get better if you are struggling in the current state. That's what I always say, but let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Hopefully you enjoyed my honest opinion on what I think and know about the current matchmaker, RNG, and should I say millimeters in World of Tanks Blitz.